Whoa there, partner, hold your horses. I bet you thought I had finally kicked my addiction to reading uncomfortable, cringy, weird text messages from the dating world. Well, do I have news for you, pal? I've only just begun on my bender here. I can quit anytime I want, it's not that big of a deal. I don't need electroshock therapy or any kind of mumbo-jumbo psychiatry to break me out of this rabbit hole. I don't have a problem. The only problem I have is that there isn't more of these for me to read, damn it. So anyway, let's begin. This morning, I hopped on and read two different stories here from relationships that fell apart in the most tragic and confusing of ways. So let's just dive right in. So we're reading from the perspective of the girlfriend in this relationship, and she's communicating with her boyfriend. They were coming up on their 3-year anniversary, but after this exchange, it all went right down the shitter. So it begins. Well, we're fucked. Pork chops went bad. My mom was getting ready to fry them and there was mold. To which the boyfriend just hits her with an okay. So she apologizes saying, I'm sorry, she's just gonna send me to get chicken alone because I already made mac. She's referring to mac and cheese, for those of you that don't understand the nomenclature there. Now, I think it's very important, as we go through this first story, that you know the ages of those involved. It's 25 and 27. The reason why I think that's important is because as we go through this story, I imagine most of you will assume that these are children. Like literally 13 and 14-year-olds. But that's just not the reality of it. This guy is about to throw away a 3-year relationship and have a biblical meltdown over not getting some fucking pork chops. He continues giving her the ice treatment here, so he just goes, okay, no good. Actually speaking like a Neanderthal. She says, the pork chops were bad, we didn't know, I'm sorry, I tried to make you food. He just once again says, okay. She says, sorry again, and he just says, cool. So this guy, he's going catatonic right now. We're losing him. He's flatlining. He's starving to death because the pork chops went bad. What is he gonna eat now? He's only a fucking 20-something-year-old man. He can't fend for himself without these pork chops. He's gonna die. She continues by saying, I really tried. Once again, just hits her with that okay. This is actually just like out of One Punch Man, that famous panel where Boros is powering up and One Punch Man just goes, okay. That is his whole personality. So he just goes, okay. And he says, you left? Yeah, she sent me to get chicken. He says, okay again, to which she just says, well, okay. She continues to profusely apologize for this whole situation here, as if she did something wrong, even though she didn't. The pork chops just went bad. I don't know what he expects from her, to like sorcery away all of the mold or whatever on them, or somehow conjure up brand new pork chops from her ass, which is something she also mentioned in the comments, like, I don't know what he wanted from me. Like, she even went to get other food that he could consume. Chicken, mac and cheese, there were other options besides the pork chops, but his mind is set on one thing. Pork chops. He only has room in his noodle for one thought, and right now that thought is pork chops. So, now that he realizes he's not getting them, he's about to go berserk over this whole situation here. Cool, you got to eat. I didn't for waiting on you. Good night. Okay, good night. I love you too. No, bro. Good night. I could have ate, but I waited on you. Of course. You could have just eaten regardless. So, the poster here, she went into detail about all of the context around this. So apparently, he had said he was going to go get food, and she mentioned that she was making pork chops with her mom later, so he said, oh, okay, well then I'll just eat the pork chops with you and your mom and I won't get food. To which she replied saying, no, you can still get food, and you're also welcome to have these pork chops, but being the noble chivalrous man that he is, he put down the food that he was going to purchase, and instead was going to eat these pork chops, which didn't end up happening. And when he didn't get served his pork chops on a golden platter, he just refused to eat, crossed his arms, kicking his legs in his high chair. Well, then I'm just going to starve. So even though she had other food that he could eat, the chicken, the mac and cheese, he just didn't. And then also didn't feed himself at any point throughout the rest of the night, I guess because he was still so fuming with steam coming out of his ears. And also, according to her in the comments, the reason he didn't eat the chicken and mac and cheese is because he only likes his chicken prepared in the most simple way ever. So he didn't like the way the chicken was prepared, and he also doesn't like mac and cheese, which is already giving me red flags. I don't know anyone that doesn't like mac and cheese in some capacity. That's making him seem already off his gourd, just from that simple fact alone. But yeah, he refuses to eat for the rest of the night, all because he couldn't have those pork chops. She says, I tried to cook, I didn't know they were bad, I couldn't have known until they defrosted. I don't care, bro, I shouldn't have waited. They made food, but I had to wait on you. Some bullshit. Good night. Oh my god, this insufferable, whiny asshole. Those pork chops must have been, like, heavenly, divine. Like, to just give up food for the rest of the night and then ruin a 3-year relationship, those pork chops gotta taste immaculate. Like, not only do they have to taste amazing, they have to come with legitimately life-changing benefits in order to have this kind of fucking tantrum over them. Like, taking a bite of those pork chops instantly chisels out your jawline a little bit further or something. I just don't know what kind of pork chops would be worth all of this anger. She apologizes again, saying, well, I'm sorry, good night, I love you too. Bro, stop telling me that. I am so tired of this guy saying bro to his girlfriend. He clearly has no respect for her whatsoever. He then throws a term out I've never seen before. He says UPMO. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that stands for, so I looked it up, and usually it's an abbreviation for Project Management Office. But that doesn't really fit in the context of this conversation. I imagine it has to be an insult. I don't think he just came out of nowhere saying, you Project Management Office. So it must stand for something else, but I still can't piece it together. Maybe you pussy monster outcast? I couldn't tell you. Never mind, now I can tell you. I just took an additional 10 minutes looking through Twitter to see anyone else who has ever used that abbreviation, and apparently it means you piss me off. Wow. Fucking oof, that is so cringe, Jesus Christ. But anyway, she says, I mean, I do, but okay, referring to loving him. And then he just says, I don't want to talk to you. And then she just says, okay, good night, I love you. He then comes back around, as all of these unhinged weirdos do, where they're like, don't talk to me, I don't want to talk to you, good night. And then he just keeps fucking going and going and going and spewing. So he comes back and says, at all. Not tomorrow either. I don't care. This is bullshit. Good night. You're fucking selfish. Fuck you for real. I really don't want to talk to you or see you. Honestly, I'll remember this. Good night. I mean, he's speaking like it's the Walking Dead Telltale game. Goofball will remember this. I mean, obviously he's going to remember this. You just had a fucking meltdown over pork chops. Everyone's going to remember this. So then she's confused, like, what did I do? You said you don't want to talk to me, so I'm leaving you alone. He then says, fuck you, please leave me alone. Get the fuck out. And then she just says, you're the one texting me just to say leave you alone. And then he again comes in, I don't want to talk or see you at all. And then she just, again, I didn't even respond to you. Okay, good night, I love you too. Just trying to get out of this conversation because he just keeps coming back to just say, leave me alone. Stop talking to me. Why aren't you talking to me? Hey, stop talking to me. I'm texting you one more time just to let you know. Don't talk to me. I don't want to talk to you. It's craziness. It's craziness. So this is the end of the text message screenshots, but the story continues. Right after this, the following morning, he continued this behavior, this attitude, and ended up dumping her because of this whole pork chop fiasco, which is a huge blessing in disguise for her because this is not a good partner. This is a crazy person. To have this level of blow up over not getting pork chops. Wow, that is some concerning delusion. So she does expand on it a little bit. He continued to insult her the following day before dumping her. So really just a piece of shit all around. And I just had to talk about this one because I don't think I've ever seen a relationship, at least of this long, 3 years. They apparently were saving up for a house, end over something so trivial. I haven't seen a relationship crumble over something so meaningless like this. This is a wild case here. So yeah, I wanted to talk about this one a little bit. I know I said I was going to do 2, but I've kind of been yapping about this one for quite a while now, so maybe I'll just save the second one for tomorrow and I'll let it be like a little teaser. I think that's what I'll do. This will be your little appetizer for tomorrow's, where I cover the other really unbelievably awful relationship crumbling text messages. But anyway, I feel bad for the girl here, but I am happy to know that they're not together anymore. I think that's a very good thing for her going forward. I know it's going to be tough for a little while, but wishing her the best. And for the dude in the story here, wishing him nothing but really bad mac and cheese and no pork chops for the rest of his life. So yeah, that's really about it. So yeah. I remember a decade or so ago, there was this trend where some creepy, degenerate losers would go around in public and try and sneakily take pictures of women's panties by sliding their phone under their dress when they weren't paying attention. They treated it like they were Sam Fisher and Splinter Cell on a stealth mission trying to grab these photographs. And they'd take these pictures and they were called upskirts. If I remember correctly, there was even a Reddit community for that where they would proudly post this, which, by the way, is illegal. They were posting evidence of a crime they had committed on the subreddit. I'm pretty sure it got fully shut down, but right now there is like a Reddit upskirts community, but I think that's something totally different, like a phoenix that rose from those ashes, because it looks like those are upskirts that the people are taking of themselves for that community. But I do remember that there was a huge controversy about that a long time ago, and then pretty much overnight, it disappeared. Just like Godzilla after a big rampage, it just vanished. I had never heard about upskirts again. I never read any headlines about anyone doing upskirts, getting like arrested or anything like that, until 2 days ago, with a Target creep who got caught on video taking an upskirt of another shopper. And it's become a pretty big story now. So when I first saw this, I thought it was fake. I thought it was like one of those rage bait things that TikTok does really often. Because it really looks, it's so over the top, like I really thought it was staged to be like a lesson, like don't be a peeping Tom, don't be like this guy. But it turns out this is all super real. So he's now facing felony charges for this, obviously. I don't know why there's a watermark here though.
Excuse me, what are you doing? No, I just saw you put that underneath her dress. Absolutely you did.
No, ma'am, I really wasn't.
You absolutely did.
Ma'am, I really wasn't.
So, like, he looks pretty much right at her while she's filming, and he puts his phone under her dress. So I really thought it was like, oh, this is a skit. This is fake. But no, this guy is just that much of a brazen pervert. Degenerate. It's actually real. So I'll show you the follow-up in a second, but no, he actually leaves here in handcuffs. He is facing felony charges, and his whole life is ruined. Rightfully so, because who knows how many times he's done this. Upskirts are a crime. Like, you can't be doing that, obviously. He's a fucking degenerate. His legs shaking, that's wild. Oh yeah, hey, we didn't finish the video, yeah. And also, instead of leaving, he stays to try and, like, talk his way out of it. Like, he was trying to find all the right dialogue options in the tree to get the good ending, instead of just running away like most people like him. So he stays the entire time to get arrested.
I really promise I wasn't trying to do anything inappropriate. I wasn't. I really wasn't. I'm not like that.
Obviously you are. I literally have it on video.
But ma'am, I'm not. I really am not. Like, I know it might have seemed that way in like the video.
No, okay, listen to me.
Yes, ma'am.
We're gonna wait for them to get here.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Like, I was just trying to look at books.
I was just trying to look at books. Okay. That's... what an interesting alternate theory there. He's just browsing some good reads. That's all. In the Pokemon cards section, where all the best books are. Does bro know porn exists? There's so many people like this, though. It's for them, I think, it's like the thrill of doing something like this. Like, I imagine this probably isn't the only time he's done it. And apparently he had been following the lady filming around the entire time, which is why she's filming here, because she got a very creepy vibe from this guy. And then I guess at some point she de-aggroed him, so then he went to this girl, started following her, and then did this.
No, I have video of him sticking his phone underneath this lady's dress as she had bent over, videotaping her. And he followed me all around the store.
Okay. So...
We need to get police.
Okay, if you can go ahead and call them also.
Oh, they don't have the next one. But he gets taken away in handcuffs. But he gets taken away from the target with the police. Turns out he was like a very active member of the church, like the local church they were at. This and that. He tried to talk his way out of it. It has not worked, and now he's facing some super serious charges. But this was something that I found interesting. He keeps denying that he wasn't doing anything wrong, and he apparently showed the police his phone, like the recent pictures, and he didn't have any recent pictures, but I don't know if that also means videos, or if he also had time to delete them. Last I heard, they subpoenaed to get, like, his deleted information for forensic examination. And they also said this, too. Police say they have yet to discover anything inappropriate involving children. Yeah, he's a volunteer at the elementary school. Arrested and cuffed at a fucking library. Show some respect, brother. He's a target. Why was the lady taking a video in the grocery store? Perfect time to catch him. Damn it, it's a Target. It's not just a grocery store, and it's not just a library. Show some respect. But as she said, she was filming him because he was initially following her around in the children's section. She got a creepy vibe, so she started filming him and following him around and then caught that. This. Imagine the unexpected turn of events, he didn't film anything. The charges against that poor lady would be crazy. Even if in the most unlikely of circumstances he didn't film anything, him putting the phone under this lady's dress still shows the intent. Like, even if he didn't hit record, like he missed it, he still showed the intent. And even if you can't arrest him for that, he's still going to be ostracized from, like, his church community and, like, his friends for that. That's creepy shit no matter what. I don't think he was recording. I think they hear the click of a photo being taken. Nope. Actually, I don't know if this is true. Chat can tell me if this is true or not. When I was reading through the story after I found out it was real, I learned that this was a pretty popular thing overseas. So I think in Japan, I think is where it was, they instituted this mandate that if you're taking a picture or a video, it has to have a sound. So you can't do this discreetly anymore because it makes a sound. And I thought that was the craziest shit. That's real? That is true? That's wild. It was that big of a problem, huh? US supermarkets have the same energy as random encounters in GTA. My dad died taking an upskirt photo. Alright. Interesting meme. So he's actually facing some additional charges as well for secret peeping. They issued a warrant after identifying 3 separate victims at the store on Monday morning, so he's facing 5 counts of secret peeping in total. Dude was really creeping and peeping on a Monday morning here. Allegedly 3 separate victims? Goodness gracious, Jesus Christ. He was just sliding his phone under everyone with a pulse at this store, I guess. But anyway, he's been caught red-handed here. He would have got away with it if it wasn't for those meddling iPhones that can also record him as well. Like, the crazy thing about a phone is it can be used for more than just filming panties. It can film you filming panties. So I guess we'll see what happens here. I highly doubt there's any alternate explanation for what he was doing in this video. I can't think of a single possible other reason for why he did what he did there aside from upskirts. That's the only logical thing. I can't even think of some kind of ridiculous theory. Never mind, scratch that. I did come up with a ridiculous theory. What if he wasn't grabbing upskirts there and instead saw a very venomous spider on the ground? He saw a black widow and he got down there calmly as to not scare the shopper or scare the spider away and then smashed it with his phone. Who knows? Maybe that's the story. Maybe that's what he did. He squished a bug and saved the day. Obviously, I'm fucking kidding with that. The only thing that can explain his behavior here is that he is a sexual degenerate that was grabbing upskirts. So I guess we'll see what charges stick here or what comes from this story. That's really about it. I just wanted to share it. That's it. See ya. If you grew up during the 90s or the early 2000s, there's an extremely high chance that you watched some of Dan Schneider's shows. It was like impossible to avoid him. It'd be like trying to dodge raindrops during a thunderstorm. Dan Schneider during this period was the king of children's television programs. He made some of the most influential productions like Drake and Josh, The Amanda Show, iCarly. His resume is just stacked with tons of shows that I imagine meant a lot to many of you growing up. And make no mistake, you meant a lot to the creator of these shows as well. Well, not so much you, but your feet certainly did. The creator of these shows is a monstrous foot fetishist, Dan Get in the Van Schneider. He is a vile, creepy, disgusting human being, and this has been known for years. However, a new docuseries just dropped really diving into this subject matter and putting a spotlight on it in a way that hasn't previously been explored. It's called Quiet on Set. Now, if you don't know what Dan looks like, here's a nice picture of him here. He looks like he was made in the Dragon's Dogma 2 character creator. And Dan Schneider has become the face of Quiet on Set. However, it actually explores more than that. It's like a whole deep look at all of the horrible things that were going on during these Nickelodeon productions. It's more than just Dan, but he obviously plays a central role here because he made these shows. He was the head honcho of most of this, and he was well aware of some of these terrible and downright criminal things that were going on behind the scenes on some of these shows. And the reason I mention the foot fetishism off rip here is because that was one of the first things that people really caught on to in the public eye. After Dan's glory days at Nickelodeon, people started to pick up on how odd it was that a lot of these children's shows had an emphasis on feet. Pretty frequently, it was a common thread throughout a lot of these shows, like feet humor and having these child actors and actresses displaying their feet. And in 2013, one of the shows Dan worked on, Sam and Cat, actually ran a competition where kids were supposed to submit pictures of their feet to them. Like, that's weird. No matter how you spin it, that's a really weird thing to request from your audience of children, to take pictures of their feet for you. That's just downright creepy and wrong. I can't believe that tweet is still up, by the way, over a decade later, and no one thought to delete that. That is impressive. But anyway, people started to pick up on Dan's fixation with stompers, and it seemed like his fetish was bleeding into his work, and he was having the children unknowingly participate in it by having them display their feet. That's what it seemed to a lot of people, so it was obviously very concerning, so people did more and more digging. They found more and more evidence of Dan being an awful piece of shit behind the scenes with a lot of shady things going on there, and it just led to this reputation that people for years have known that Dan blows loads to toes Schneider is not a good person. And now Quiet on the Set has released, and so much information has come out, not just about Dan, but about that entire Nickelodeon workplace around these child stars. Arguably the largest piece of new information that dropped during this docuseries was the sexual abuse of Drake Bell by someone named Brian Peck. So Brian Peck was a coach at Nickelodeon whom was sexually abusing Drake Bell, and he was actually convicted in 2004. He spent 16 months in the slammer, and then immediately upon release, landed a job with Disney. If that doesn't show just how rotten to the core this industry is, I don't know what will. There is deep-seated evil in Hollywood. He went to jail for lewd acts with a minor. He is a sex offender, a convicted sex offender, and he immediately got a Disney Channel job working on The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. What the fuck? That's mind-bogglingly evil. Like that's not just irresponsible, that's malicious. It's not like they just made some kind of mistake where they put a sex offender in a role where he works almost exclusively with children. It's not like they made a whoopsie-daisy, they just happened to overlook that he's a sex offender. They knew. They would have to know, and they still hired him for that role regardless. That's scary. That's terrifying. They're actively enabling a fucking sex offender to potentially prey on more children. Drake also described that when he went into court, Brian Peck had the support of some very powerful and familiar faces. There were 41 character letters written to the judge asking for leniency for Brian Peck. 41 letters of support from industry personnel that were trying to get a lighter sentence for Brian Peck, even knowing that he is guilty of the crimes for which he is about to face the punishment, asking for a more generous sentence. These weren't just 41 pieces of toilet paper with nonsensical scribblings on it from nobodies. These were 41 character letters that were submitted by industry personnel, some of whom were high up on the food chain, so these things carried weight. And they're advocating for someone who is guilty of sexually abusing a child. Holy shit. They just viewed it as not a big deal, I guess? Listen, Judge, I understand Brian Peck diddled a child. Who at Nickelodeon hasn't? Are you really gonna throw him away or put him away and throw away the key for that? What about season 3 of Drake and Josh? What actually matters here? Let's think about that. Like, this is crazy to me. It almost stops being surprising learning that Brian Peck landed a job at Disney right after his 16 months in prison for this crime, because it seems like that entire industry just does not give a fuck about the safety of kids to begin with. So like I said, Quiet on Set isn't just about Dan Schneider and all of the awful things that he has done. It's about how awful that entire industry itself is. But once again, Dan Schneider does still play a large role in this docuseries, highlighting the bad workplace and environment that he would cultivate, the weird shit that would go on in like the writer's room and the way he'd treat some people, just a whole plethora of different bad stuff. And in response to all of this, Dan Schneider himself actually stepped out from the shadows, leaving his little gopher's hidey hole and addressing it head on in one of the most painfully scripted and staged apology video interviews I've ever seen.
Hey, it's Boogie. I played T-Bo on Nickelodeon's iCarly. I got a chance to watch the Quiet on Set program, and I reached out to Dan to see if it was something that he'd be willing to discuss. I'm pleased to say that he said yes. Dan, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
The interview is not conducted by a professional. It's conducted by a former actor in one of Dan Schneider's shows, and he is not equipped to handle something like this. This is the biggest load of baloney. Like, this is just some straight up fucking malarkey. There is no pushback from Boogie on anything in this interview at all. It's just strategic softballs designed to give Dan Schneider some kind of sympathetic PR win here, where he comes out of this looking better, where he comes out of this like not the bad guy. It's so deplorable that they'd even try something like this with a straight face. I think it is extremely transparent what this is, and I'm happy to say pretty much everyone saw straight through this. This did not give Dan Schneider the dunk I think he was expecting it to. This did not make him look any better in the public's eye. It actually just made it look even more sinister that he was able to, it seems, pre-prepare this interview to mitigate the potential fallout from the docuseries airing.
Let's talk about the massages.
Okay.
Watching the content yesterday, it was disturbing.
It was wrong. It was wrong that I ever put anybody in that position. It was the wrong thing to do. I'd never do it today. I'm embarrassed that I did it then. I apologize to anybody that I ever put in that situation.
Dan, talk to me about the writer's room. From what I saw, not cool.
No, and I don't mean to cut you off, but if I can cut right to the chase, let me just say, no writer should ever feel uncomfortable in any writer's room, ever, period, the end, no excuses.
It starts with what's supposed to be this moment of taking accountability. Dan Schneider's just point blank apologizing and, you know, holding himself accountable for the sins of the past type vibe. Except he's really not. Like, these aren't things that you just, like, hand wave away with, like, a simple apology. A lot of what was reported is, like, unforgivable bad shit. Like, there's really no way of apologizing for the things that Dan Schneider has done and also been accused of. So it's just, it feels so fucking insincere. And Dan Schneider got away with it, and it seems will continue to get away with it. So he loses nothing by doing something like this, which just makes it frustrating to see him parade around pretending like he cares now all of a sudden. Like, it's extremely easy for him to just be like, oh yeah, that was bad. I feel bad for that. Oh, what a regret. Yep, not good. Like, it's just, I would have liked if the interviewer was someone that would legitimately dive into a lot of these things and actually press him on a lot of these things. This interview never even addresses the things that people want to hear from Dan on, such as like the sexualization of the children in those shows. Even outside of all the foot stuff, Dan included some very inappropriate things in his programs, such as Ariana Grande milking a potato, and then another scene with her getting like splashed with water and shit. Like, all of it was very unacceptable and seems to sexualize the child actors and actresses in his productions. And that was never even brought up in this interview. So this interview just, it doesn't have any real substance to it. It is legitimately just a scripted PR play from Dan.
I cut it. I want my shows to be popular. I want everyone to like. The more people who like the shows, the happier I am.
Yeah.
So if there's anything in a show that needs to be cut because it's upsetting somebody, let's cut it.
So I think it's big for you to say with your work, if it's viewed as that today, you don't have a problem.
Cut it. Cut it.
I mean, that's a solution.
The last thing I want to ever do is put any content in a show that's going to upset my audience and make them want to turn off the TV. Why would I ever want to do that?
That makes sense.
This is him addressing a question that Boogie asked about, like, inappropriate jokes in there without getting too deep into the weeds, just a broad subject of some of these jokes have aged poorly and people look at them as inappropriate for a child audience. How do you respond? The most softball way of asking this question, mind you, and his response was, cut it. Just get rid of it. I don't want it in the show. If it's aged bad and it makes people uncomfortable or, you know, this and that, cut it. And Boogie's like patting him on the back for it, like, oh my goodness, wow. That's so benevolent. What a great solution. Yeah, that makes sense. What the fuck? It's so easy for him to say that now, but it doesn't take away the fact that you filmed it. If you cut Ariana Grande milking a potato type shit, if you cut some of the foot stuff that you included in there, it doesn't change the fact that you still had the child actors and actresses doing that shit and were sexualizing them. It still happened. That's still bad. Cutting it from the final product doesn't erase what you did. It's so frustrating that there's no pushback on any of this in the interview. He just gets to let him say his piece and then get applause for it. It's so stupid.
And when Drake and I talked and he told me what had happened, I was more devastated by that than anything that ever happened to me in my career thus far. 41 of those people wrote letters for Peck, character letters, praising him for who he was and asking for leniency, and they knew that he was guilty. They knew he had confessed to some degree, and they still did this. But Drake's mom, a lovely woman who I stay in contact with this day, she came to me at the time and she said, would you help me with my speech for the judge? And I said, of course. And I did.
Dan Schneider's fishing for the Nickelodeon's Kid Choice Award for the best fake crying. It feels super forced and super insincere. Him tearing up while talking about this story. This is him talking about the Drake and Brian Peck case, where he mentions 41 people wrote those letters and it baffled him. And then Drake's mom actually asked him to help her write her piece, which he did. And that leads me to a question of, if you knew all this, why didn't you back up Drake Bell? The way it's described, Brian Peck had all of these people in his corner, but Drake really only had his mom and his brother. Why weren't you more involved then? Like, I imagine that could have been extraordinarily helpful. But regardless, this interview doesn't do anything to change my perception of Dan Schneider, or anyone else's, really, I imagine, because it's still nothing. This isn't really an interview, it's just a PR piece, disguised as an interview. It's just more despicable garbage here. But yeah, anyway, I wanted to talk about this a little bit. Again, the docuseries is called Quiet on Set, it's out now, and yeah, just kind of wanted to go over it a little bit. That's it. See ya. Hey, it's that magical time again where we get to point, laugh, and shoot spitballs at a creepy degenerate being weird to a woman. So I hope you've done all of your smile exercises, because we're gonna be putting a big ol' grin on that face and having a hoot and a holler at this guy's expense.
So, crazy, silly question, but I'm just curious. I know you don't like coffee, and I know you don't, and I know you eat cereal in the evening.
Yeah.
And I know you have a son, right?
Yeah.
And I know you're about early 30s.
So Goober approaches this woman who's on the leg press machine, and he immediately just starts listing off things he knows about her, which just sounds like some stalker shit. Like, it sounds like a mission out of Hitman, where Agent 47's being given a dossier and going over his target's interests and, like, where they might be so they can plan out the assassination. This is just, like, such a creepy, cold open here. I know I'm reading way too deep into this situation and it's starting to get dangerously delusional, but for some reason when I first saw this clip, it immediately reminded me of a climactic moment in an action movie when the villain is monologuing to the hero like a fucking phone call. I know you don't like coffee. I know you're in your early 30s. I know the FBI is listening to this call right now. I know you have a son. His name is Mark. He attends Biff Gilmore High. Do this task for me. And all the agents listening to this, stay out of it. And nothing has to happen to Mark. It's just a really odd, peculiar play here. This is definitely not a play that John Madden would draw up. To just approach her and start listing off all the things you know about her, it's just weird. I'm assuming she and him have talked before, which is why he knows all this. They probably have like small talk. They're probably on friendly terms. I don't think he's been like perusing her Facebook trying to digest all of the lore that she publicly posts about herself there. But it's still weird to then come up and just start like spouting it all back to her about everything you know.
That's what I've learned so far. Yeah, you know, I don't know. I think you're really cool. I know you have a son. I'll tell you, you know, straight up, like, I kind of sort of married, like, I kind of sort of on my end.
You know how everything has an opposite? Wet, dry, light, dark, matter, antimatter? This guy is anti-charisma. He is the exact opposite of Riz. Like, this dude legitimately has less game than someone that is asleep. He is stumbling through whatever he was cooking up in his noodle here, and it is extraordinarily uncomfortable to listen to. It's like the first draft of a book report where there's still a ton of typos and grammatical mistakes and nothing's making sense, it's all scatterbrained. That's what's happening through this whole exchange. And yet he still is able to squeak out that bombshell there that he's actually married while actively hitting on this woman. And you can see the shock and surprise on her face to learn that little nugget of information about this guy. If I had to speculate a guess, I would imagine he's been flirtatious in the past, which is why she's even more surprised by it. So he's just a big scumbag piece of shit here for this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. But I don't know. There's something about you that's really cool. Like just casual, but I don't know if you would have a pizza with me sometime or something.
I'm pretty sure your wife is not approving.
Good golly, heavens to Betsy, this guy fucking sucks at talking to women. He is speaking to her like he is still in middle school. He just keeps repeating, I think you're cool, I think you're really cool. Like, I half expected him to just go even harder on that, like, I actually think you're epic. Do you want to come over and see my Fortnite, KD? And then we can grab a pizza. Like, there's nothing wrong with a pizza date, I want to be clear there. But it's just this combination of, you're so cool, 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 let's get pizza. Like, that's what I imagine a 12-year-old thinks romance is like. You're cool, get pizza with me, I'll have my mom order Papa John's. Like, what the fuck? It sounds like he's about to bring up cooties. Like, I don't even care if you have cooties, it's okay. Like, he sounds like a fucking child talking to her through text messages. Like, circle yes if you like me, if you like me. Oh, it's so bad. Honestly, this might be inspirational for someone out there. It doesn't matter how awkward or uncomfortable you are, you could still find a partner. Somehow this guy has a wife. Somehow this complete fucking turbo loser has a wife. And now he's trying to cheat on her. So don't be like this guy, but at least let this be known that you don't have to be the most charismatic person out there or be the most socially adept at speaking to other people to find a partner. So maybe there's a little positive spin there. But anyway, back to spitting and shitting on this goofball. The lady here is being extremely sweet about this whole thing as opposed to just splashing the cold water on him and saying, get the fuck away from me. She is tiptoeing around this, probably because she doesn't want to make a scene out of it. Most women usually try and let someone down in a nice way, because if they don't, it could get dangerous. Like, there's no telling how unhinged this guy is. He's trying to fucking cheat on his wife, and he's being brutally honest about it. He is a weirdo. So it's definitely the smart call to just be like, oh, I don't think your wife would approve of us getting pizza or going to play laser tag or whatever other childish fucking offer you were about to make. Like, her being nice about it is the optimal move, but it also keeps her wrapped up in this conversation, unfortunately. So I feel so fucking bad for her because he continues to press, and he's already interrupted her workout. So I imagine it's just this giant fucking headache, this huge annoyance because this uncomfortable miasma of cringe has approached her and won't leave. Like the storm just will not pass.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Glad you're up front, but yeah.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Yeah, exactly.
Married, then, like,
right, no. That's why I said.
Yeah.
That, I wanted to be. But I won't say unfortunately, because being married's good. But sometimes sometimes you meet somebody that just
Bingo. Peekaboo, I see you. I was so curious what this guy looked like. I was freeze framing on every single goddamn pixel of this thing, trying to catch just a glimpse of him here to finally get this Bigfoot photo with him peeking in the top right there. I always get so curious in situations like this. What does the person look like who's conducting themselves this way? I know it's not important, but for me, a mystery like this sometimes just needs a little bit of closure. Anyway, he continues with his speech. I don't want to say unfortunately, because being married's great. I love it. But sometimes need something with a little bit more of a connection. A man like me can't be hunkered down to just one woman. You know what's better than one pussy? My wife's? Your pussy. That's 2 vaginas. Double the fun. What say you to that? Come get a pizza with me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no, but yeah, like it's my connection wouldn't be your connection. I'm married.
Hopefully does lose faith in men and humanity, right? Like it makes us scared women to like ever want to get married because we don't know if they're out at the gym doing that. You know what I mean?
For sure.
I mean, I don't blame you. I'm mad at you. At least you're honest, but like.
He's going into full car salesman pitch mode right now with the hard sell. My connection's your connection. Buy 2, get 2 free. Come on now. What are you waiting for? The deal's depreciating. Come on. It's, you know, what are you doing? And she is doing her absolute best to be nice here. She is doing everything she can to be, like, sweet in this situation. To try and, like, just get through this as pain-free as possible so she can go back to working out, which is what she went there to do. Like, oh my god, it's so fucking rough. And the guy just keeps going.
No, for sure. Oh no, I mean, I wouldn't, like, have not told you, you know. Yeah. Up to this point, I just kind of said hi and let it off, and that's it. You know, and, yeah. And I was, you know, I was like thinking, you know, really, when you think about it, it's unfair even to, like, you also. So, well, what the hell? What's the point?
The way he just blabbers on and gets all jumbled up on each word reminds me of that viral meme of that kid who was doing a line reading but accidentally messed it up. Have you ever had a dream where you could, and you never want, but you could, and you never want, but do it so bad? Like that? That is his entire statement to this woman here. Just a bunch of gobbledygook.
I mean, probably the best scenario is, and I'm not saying this would ever happen, but like seriously, if you knew my wife and you know what I mean, like we were all friends, that's different.
Yeah.
But and you actually would like her. She's very nice. Yeah. You'll probably meet her sometime. Actually, you know, she hasn't been, but she does come sometimes. So when we're here and I see you, I'll introduce you.
That's where our adventure ends. And man, what a journey it was, huh? I don't know where to begin with that closing statement. If only you knew my wife and we were all friends, that's different. You'll probably meet my wife at some point. You'll fucking love her. I mean, she's great. You'll love her. In fact, my wife would actually love if I cheated on her with you, and that can happen after you meet her. You know, I'll just introduce you next time that she's here. And we can talk about how I was trying to cheat on her by taking you on dates. And I think we'll all have a good laugh about it. We'll all become great friends, and then it's all smooth sailing. Just a fucking weirdo, loser, degenerate creep. Pretty impressive one here. So, yep, just wanted to talk about this a little bit. That's about it. See ya. Do you believe in reincarnation? If you answered no, well then maybe I can present some evidence to the contrary that might make you a believer. What if I told you the soul of Ted Bundy has returned and found a new vessel? He's on TikTok.
Excuse me. My name's Lori.
Alright.
I just think you're one of the most beautiful girls I've ever met.
Oh, thank you.
Could I buy one of those things for you?
Oh, no, it's okay. I'll be fine.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I saw this video earlier today, and it's a doozy here. So, this girl is at a thrift shop, and she started recording because there was some creepy guy following her around like a cartoon character that smelled an apple pie, so he's been like floating towards her, and now he's made his move.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you engaged with someone or involved with someone?
No, I'm not, but...
I'm not either.
I'm only 17, so...
Okay, well, that's a good age to be.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not quite that.
Alright.
You can hear how frightened the girl is here. She's extremely uncomfortable and just trying to be, like, dismissive so that way she can get out of this situation here. And the guy is unrelenting. She even mentions that she's 17, underage, and that doesn't faze him even slightly. He even says that's a good age to be. He's like, oh, interesting. Well, you know, good enough for Roblox, good enough for me. You know, on Roblox, you're allowed into some, you know, real spicy games over there. So, you know, it's a good age to be, I guess. I'm not quite that age, you know. Ha 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 ha.
I got injured about a month or so ago. My knee is kind of, I'll show you. It's kind of banged up. I get bitten by a tick, actually.
Now, this is where I drew comparisons to Ted Bundy. He's trying the fake injury riz here, which Ted Bundy was famous for. He used to, like, walk around on crutches sometimes or have a fake cast to lure in more victims, saying, like, I need help doing something, clearly I'm injured, please can you find it in your heart to lend me some aid here while no one else is willing to. The world is so cruel and I need a special woman like you to come help me with these chores that I'm no longer able to do. And that's exactly where this mysterious stranger goes here too. He starts by saying, like, are you engaged with someone? Very not normal thing to ask somebody, by the way. And then she mentions that she's underage. He's like, that's alright, what a great age to be. Hey, you want to check out my fucked up knees over here? Look at this shit. Look how gnarly this is. I got injured a little while ago. Look at these knees. Feast your eyes on an injury. Look at this.
Maybe you can guess which one is bad.
Oh, I have no idea.
You can't tell?
No, I can't tell.
It's the right one. Anyway, I live out in the country.
Unfortunately, she failed the minigame of guess which is my bad knee. It's a very tough one. Like, that's an old carnival game. There are no real winners there. It's pretty much a lose-lose situation there. This is just so unhinged, so he pulls up his pants to better reveal his knees for this little side quest. Like, come on, take a guess. Which one of these disgusting knees do you think is the one that causes me most issue? Well, you can't tell? Come on, it's clearly the right knee. Look at it. There's pustules popping on it. It looks like a boss's weak spot in Dead Space. Are you even trying to win this game? You can't tell? Look, I hurt myself. My knees are injured. This is no laughing matter. I need your help. Then he hits that classic, like, non sequitur moving on line of, so anyway, he just drops the most, like, insanity imaginable. He's just like, yeah, so anyway, I live out in the middle of nowhere. People will not be able to hear you scream. It's going to be completely isolated from the rest of society. I'm out in the country.
And I got a bunch of stuff that I was kind of trying to keep up on for work, but it's kind of falling behind. I'm looking for someone to help me.
Oh, okay.
It's a paying thing, but it basically involves getting my stuff out of the garden and processing some things like tomatoes and that kind of stuff.
Right. I'm getting a phone call. I actually have to go.
Okay.
There's a lot more to process here than tomatoes. I think this could have been like a full-blown kidnapping situation here, actually. This is disturbing. So, he's trying to pitch her now on, like, coming to work for him, like, to give him help with carrying things out of the garden and processing tomatoes on his land because he can't tend to it anymore after that tragic knee injury with that bastard tick that latched onto his beautiful knees. And he's trying to, like, lure her in with financial incentive, like it's a paying thing. He also tries to, like, butter her up by trying to, like, buy her something from the thrift shop. So it seems like, and some of the comments pointed this out as well, he is trying to prey on someone he believes needs money, so that way he can take advantage of that and, like, get them out into the middle of nowhere with him. It's like dropping money on the ground and, like, luring it in on the fishing rod, like that episode of SpongeBob with Mr. Krabs. I have to imagine it wouldn't actually be a job that you're signing up for if anyone took him up on this offer here. I bet they would never be seen or heard from again. This was like some, like, dangerous skin-crawling riz here from this guy. Yikes. Very yucky. Good call from her to, like, minimally engage with it and then get the fuck out of there the second she saw an opening and an opportunity to run. Anyway, that's a creepy old guy right there. Just wanted to share that. That's really about it. So yeah. There's so many things in this world that can make you frown. Undercooked meat, getting a porta potty tipped over on you while you're inside, just to name a couple. I want to give you something that can make you smile. One of those public nuisance streamers whose whole existence revolves around making everyone's lives around them worse as their content has just been arrested. 2023 has actually been a pretty solid year for streamers everyone hates getting thrown in the slammer, finally facing some real repercussions for their awful behavior and unbelievable cringe, such as the streamer Johnny Somali, who is still currently in jail in Japan right now, God bless. Now, I haven't seen a follow-up to the individual we're going to talk about right now, so I'm going to delve into fantasy like it's the fucking Magic Treehouse here. In my little headcanon fanfic, he is currently sitting in his prison cell blubbering his little eyes out like a bitch. And this clip actually makes me extremely happy. It reminds me that Christmas is right around the corner because it gets me in a joyful spirit. And just as old Saint Nicholas taught us, it's better to give than to receive. So I wanted to give you all the gift of a big ear-to-ear grin as we watch this insufferable asshole get arrested, but also what led up to it.
Hey, listen up. You look so cute and you look so delectable. I want to put you on a plate and just eat you up. How about that? What's your name, baby? I know you're sorry. You're sorry you can't get with a hunk like me. You're sorry you're stuck with a cuck that you fucking cheat on. You record videos of you sucking off other guys and he wants to see that shit. Correct me if I'm wrong.
This guy's voice sounds like someone doing an impression of a Redditor. He's got that quintessential nasally loser voice. And clearly he knows he's not actually going to end up getting this girl's number or anything like that. He's being as abrasive as possible because it's content for his stream to entertain them by just going up and harassing women as much as possible. Admittedly, this guy is also self-aware enough to recognize that he is a creep, but instead of doing anything to fix that and better himself, he's more than happy to lean into it as much as possible to become the ultimate creep. He has adopted it as his only personality trait, being a loveless, sexless loser, and tries to make a career out of it. He is actually striving to be a professional dumpster for everyone in the chat to spit in and laugh at. It is pathetic. Dude's out here more dripless than I am, by the way. He's out here rocking a yellow t-shirt, bright yellow, looking like Curious George's friend, the man in the yellow jacket. Goober's also got some of the worst posture I've ever seen in public. He's more hunched over than that iconic photo of Goatman in the forest. So I already know when he's not out in public harassing people for his stream, he's inside on the computer doom scrolling the internet, rotting and withering away. Now, of course, I'm not usually one to criticize posture, because sometimes when I'm streaming, I get fucking hunched over and right up against the monitor too. But at least when I'm out in public, I'm self-aware enough to recognize that you gotta straighten that shit up.
And that happens regularly, right? Because it's true. Tell me I'm right on the money or not. Tell me, okay, listen up, baby. I'm so sorry. You know, I really tried. God damn you. Her booty's so small. Fuck.
It's so cute how he also has a friend with him that's doing the same thing, but from a distance, kind of whispering it to stream, just insulting the girl for the audience. What an unbelievable power couple of fucking douchebags.
I don't want to bother you guys, I'm not trying to be creepy in any way, but can I get like one of your numbers and I'll be on my way and then we can meet up?
We're actually going to go meet our boyfriends right now. So.
Oh, so I can't take you out or do anything like that?
Yes, really quick, just stop right now.
Sorry.
Doesn't matter what you want. Do you want?
We're just, here's what we're wondering.
I'm sorry.
You're just so fucking hot.
That second encounter right there is nightmarish. This girl's walking on the street alone. Two weirdos come up to her and say, "It doesn't matter what you want." And you could see her facial expression drop, just completely sink into a panic mode. I have no doubt she expected to be attacked by them or something, and you can see she picked up the pace. Because who wouldn't? That's a fucking weird thing to have happen. That's frightening. And especially from these two guys who are just walking around, camera out, coming up to you in the middle of the night. Like, what the fuck? This whole shtick sucks. It's just going up and bothering people who are just going about their night. Just randomly coming up to women. Hey, pardon me, toots. Unsucked penis is a disease and I'm suffering from it. Are you the cure? You should be. It's fucking dumb. And it's a lot worse than that. It's worse than just going up and doing cringy lines. It's sticking around, bothering people, and in this case, scaring a woman who's walking home alone.
Want to be my girlfriend for 5 minutes? Do you want to just go on a little date?
We're going to walk for a bit.
Okay.
Just a pinky?
Okay.
Pinky?
Okay. You can hold my hand.
Oh.
Yeah.
So,
hey, I'm here with my girlfriend. I'm here with my girl. Can you guys just shut the fuck up? I'm here with my girlfriend.
Okay,
just shut the fuck up.
People.
Get the fuck out of here. I'm here with my girlfriend. You're making too much noise. Get the fuck out of here, asshole. Fucking prick. I'm so sorry, Luna.
No,
please. No, I was just protecting you.
No,
I was protecting you, baby. Please.
Haha, you get it? The joke is he's just pretending to be an unhinged lunatic. I don't know why you couldn't understand the gut-busting comedy of that. I'm gonna toss a quick fun fact your way, so get ready to receive it. About a month ago, I made a video going over shitty streamers like this guy and his friend, and I'm almost 100% certain that this is the same guy that ran away when someone he was harassing finally took him up on the offer to fight. He was the guy that instigated a conflict, and then the guy he was doing it to said, alright, let's just settle it right now. And immediately this guy bolted off. I'm being very generous with that term. Bolted in the same way that an alcoholic zombie would stumble across the street, because this guy is not athletic at all. But he ran away as quickly as his goofy little legs could take him, and then had this brief come-to-Jesus moment where he recognized just how sad and pathetic he is. Just this impressive specimen of trash.
Alright, you and me, Central Park, tomorrow. Don't be late, motherfucker. Alright. I hope he doesn't chase me, because I don't want to fight him. Am I a pussy beta? Perhaps. But I don't know.
Using all the latest and greatest in technology and summoning the world's leading forensic experts to analyze the footage here, I think we can all conclude with a high level of confidence that this guy and the guy that I've been showing you who's about to get arrested here on stream are the same person. There's just no way that this world is forsaken enough to allow two people that sound, look, and act like him and stream like him to exist at the same time. I just don't believe that. It's the same person. I'm pretty sure of it.
you love it.
It's, you know that there's like a...
Excuse me, what's going on? What's going on? Relax. Put your hands behind your back.
Put your hands behind your back.
What's going on?
You're being placed under arrest.
For what?
We'll tell you in a minute. Yeah. You just want to talk? You want to run? All right, now we're going to put you on your side.
So they're arresting Carl, guys? Carl did nothing wrong?
Ah, yes, the good ending. Tugs on your heartstrings. It's a beautiful thing to witness. You love to see that. I can't imagine a more fitting conclusion here. I don't know why his buddy's saying he did nothing wrong. He immediately tried to run from the cops who were about to start talking to him. You can't do that. Like, what the fuck? I imagine they got called there for a disturbance, like, hey, there's this weirdo and his weirdo friend that keep harassing everyone nearby, so the cops are coming to tell him to, like, cut that shit out. And then Chief Goofball here immediately tries to run. Well, it's not really a run. This guy and run don't really go in the same sentence. He takes, like, 2 fee-fi-fo-fum steps that kind of resemble, like, speedier movement, and the cops are like, nah, putting the kibosh on this, and they just tackle him, they take him down, and then stand him back up. So, again, I don't know what the update is. I don't know if he's still in custody or what, or if there's any charges. I couldn't tell you. It just makes me happy to see that. It's just a big ol' asshole getting taken off the streets there, so I thought that might put a smile on some of your faces. That's about it. So, yep. Call of Duty. It's a shit franchise with a shittier community, and now they've helped murder an innocent man. So this is a story I've been following since the first reports of a suspected death via swatting were reported on, and I'm sure some of you have already heard it by now, but it's something I want to talk about. So this sad story goes, 2 man-children named Vaporize and Mir Cole, and I know upon hearing these abysmal names you asked yourself, are these 8-year-olds that this story is about? No, these are not 8-year-olds that those names belong to. Those names belong to adults. And these 2 adults had a Call of Duty wager match for $1.50. They were really throwing the wood down that night, high stakes gambling, and they lost the match. They were on the same team and they got mad at each other and they blamed each other for the loss and they started going at it. No, my dick's 3 inches hard, so I have the bigger penis. Who cares if you have the bigger penis? A girl laughed at me once, and then eventually it escalates to the point where Vaporizer gets in contact with an even bigger virgin, the chief virgin. His name is Swatistic, and he had been known for swatting things like MLG matches and shit, just really sad, pathetic stuff. And this human catheter did an interview on YouTube talking about this. I still watched it because I wanted to hear what a swatter sounded like, and it's exactly like what you'd expect, just as pathetic as you'd imagine.
Right. Do you take any responsibility for what happened?
The argument can be made that the police would have never shut up if I didn't make the call. However, I don't believe that I'm the only guilty party involved in this whole incident, considering I was contacted and, you know, almost instructed to SWAT and taunted to SWAT an address. I mean, of course, if you want to, I mean, you could say that, of course, I was involved. However, I mean, other people were involved. I mean, yeah, the call was made by me, but as far as the whole incident, you could point the finger at numerous people.
It's amazing how you can actually hear the back acne in this kid's voice. And the way he talks, it's like he took pages right out of the Tumblr experts playbook, like the fucking incel section of Tumblr who gives advice on what to do when faced with authorities. He just, allegedly, well, I guess you could look at it that way. Well, one could say I had access to, I mean, due to multiple interpretations, there's a multitude of factors at play. I suppose you could, deduce that I pushed him into the shark-infested waters, but it was the shark that killed him, not me. And it's sad that I have to compare sharks to cops, because sharks aren't even out for as much blood as cops are. But anyway, once Vaporize gets in contact with Swatistic, they attempt to dox and swat Miracle, but Miracle, in an attempt to prove that his cock is 3 inches hard, reaches out to Swatistic and says, "Here's my address, swat me, pussy boy," and here's the tweet. So he does, he swats that address, but Miracle, being the brave man he is, gives an address that isn't his, belongs to an innocent man who gets killed by the cops when they show up. In his interview with Keemstar, the kid shows no remorse at all, nor does he take any responsibility, and passes the blame off onto the other 2 kids, and I do agree, they have a big part to play in this. I think all 3 of them should have the same sentence, which is life in prison, because they contribute absolutely nothing to society. They fucking have Call of Duty wager matches for $1.50 and then kill an innocent man over it. What good do they bring to society? They're just downright sociopaths. None of them felt any empathy for what happened. It wasn't just the kid who actually called the SWAT. Miracle, the one who gave that address, was laughing about it on Twitter. Vaporizer is not to be heard from. They all deleted their accounts and shit. But I really don't think it can be that difficult to find out who these 3 dudes are. The fucking NSA can watch me jerk off in the middle of my kitchen through my coffee maker. How can they not find who owns these horrible Twitter accounts with these horrible fucking names? And now I'd like to talk directly to the people who say, well, it's not their fault, it's the cop who killed him's fault. No, it's definitely their fault. That wouldn't have happened if they didn't call the police. But the police are also very much to blame here. So, according to the family, what happened is the police were banging on the door, the husband opens the door and is immediately shot by a cop. Immediately shot. Why the fuck is he immediately shot? You go there because it's a reported hostage situation. I understand it's very high tension, you're nervous, you're on edge, but you knock on the door and someone opens the door. That's the expected response. Why do you panic and shoot him? It's like a pizza man going to my door because I ordered pizza. He knocks on my door, I open the door, and he fucking blasts me with a shotgun because he wasn't expecting me to open the door. What the fuck were the cops expecting? Did they think he was gonna bust through the 2nd floor window like Action Man and land on the ground and turn himself in? Why did they freak out because he opened the door? I don't get that response at all. Everyone's like, oh, I feel so sorry for the cop. He's the real victim here. He's gonna have to live with that for the rest of his life. No, the cop is not the real fucking victim here. The real victim is the man who got killed and his family that he leaves behind now. I feel absolutely nothing for that cop except hatred. He's either A, the most untrained officer on the force, and the force benefits from him not being there, or B, just a bloodthirsty menace. Now, if it's the former, what kind of training do the SWAT go through? They're supposed to be the elite. They're supposed to be the best of the best. But apparently they're all so fucking afraid of their own shadow. What kind of training do they get? I have to know. Do they just put the fear of God in them? They train them like they're fucking dogs. Oh, if you hear a loud sound, just fucking shoot at it. You don't want to take any risks. No matter what happens, if you hear anything, if you see anything, shoot it. That's the only way to deal with problems. They just have to be so poorly trained. And the way they handle the situation after they kill the husband is just as bad. So they go there because it's a reported hostage situation. They kill the man who I guess they immediately assumed was the man who took the hostages. He opened the door, he must have the hostages. Fucking blast him. Okay, he's down. Now they have the hostages left. And what do? They make the hostages walk over the corpse and then handcuff them. What fucking heroes, huh? That's how you're trained to handle a hostage situation. You handcuff the hostage after making them walk over a dead body? Amazing. Absolutely amazing. SWAT is a fucking joke. An absolute fucking joke. I made this video when the story was still fresh and all the details weren't fully out there, and now I just watched an interview with the mother of the son who was killed by the police, and she says there was no knocking on the door. He heard noises, so opened the door and was gunned down. They weren't giving him any warnings or anything, they just killed him the second he opened the door. Which doesn't exactly make it any better for the police side of the story. I'm not going to take out the part of the video with the knocking on the door portion, because there still is some sources claiming they did knock on the door and then killed him when he opened it. So really neither one of them looks better for the police. Him opening the door while they, didn't give him any warnings or anything and killing him, that's just as bad. I don't know what the fuck they thought he was doing, opening the door to charge them with like riding on horseback or something. It's still a ridiculous scenario that doesn't warrant them gunning him down in any cases. Also, more breaking news as I was rendering this video out, the swatter has been arrested. Here's his picture. This is him. Looking like a man you'd find at your local card shop playing Yu-Gi-Oh! With the children. And now I'm happy to say, Tyler joins the Hall of Fame of swatters with Robert McDade and Zachary Lee, who are behind bars for many years. It's a fantastic conclusion, really. But this shouldn't be where the story ends. Miracle and Vaporize and the cop need to face repercussions for this event. This whole thing wouldn't have happened without Miracle and Vaporize coming together and forming the perfect storm of tiny penis and lack of testosterone. And if Tyler's going to jail, those two should also be going to jail. Vaporize will likely get raperized in there. And it'd be a miracle if the other guy's asshole wasn't stretched 2 feet. The cop also needs to be joining them with some more than just a paid vacation. There needs to be more done here. Justice hasn't been served entirely, but it's a great fucking start. And I just want to address this because I already know it's going to come up in the comments, people calling me just a cop hater, one of those fuck all cops kind of people. I'm not. I don't hate all cops. There's good and bad cops, I know that, but there's a lot of bad cops, a lot of them going around right now. Just take, for example, the fucking Simon Says killer from not too long ago, who just executed a man who was following his absurd instructions, making him do everything shy of an interpretive dance and write him a book report, and then he kills him. It's fucking sickening, and I think this is another example of a bad cop. I know we don't have all the details surrounding what happened here, but I don't think under any circumstances would a man opening a door warrant being gunned down in cold blood. Unless he walked out of that front door with a nuclear bomb strapped to his chest, I don't see why you executed him like that for no fucking reason with no warnings. It's just disgusting. This is a bad cop. There's a lot of bad cops, but I don't hate all cops. Obviously not all cops are bad. But yeah, I mean, that's this whole story, and I'm super glad the swatter was caught, and we can only hope that justice is served for the other 3 that were involved in this tragedy. So yeah, that's it. So yeah. I'll be honest, I don't usually cover topics like what I'm about to touch on today, because it's extremely serious. Usually the stuff I cover is things to point and laugh at, throw tomatoes at, say boo, stinky, yucky, boo. Not this. This is horrifying. It's a story I haven't seen a ton of people mention, and I myself didn't know about it until a few nights ago, where just some random chatter during stream mentioned it, and I looked it up, and the information was only a few minutes old. Like, I don't even know how that guy had access to it so quickly, unless he's like one of the chief investigators on the case that just typed it in the chat. But when I looked it up there wasn't a ton of specifics mentioned about the case, but I followed it over the last few days as more and more information has come to the public eye. It is truly evil. And to my knowledge, this is the first case where a live stream was used as an alibi in a murder case or anything of that magnitude. There of course has been cases like with Facebook live streams and even YouTube a couple times where horrible atrocities were committed live, but I think this is the only time that someone has tried to use a live stream to prove their innocence and act as a smokescreen to cover up their crimes. Now, the person I'm about to talk about hasn't been found guilty yet, but they have been charged with murder with overwhelming evidence. Extremely compelling and strong evidence. On December 18th in Ireland, a woman named Natalie McNally was stabbed to death in her own home. She was 15 weeks pregnant at the time of her death. And the person accused of the murder is a man named Stephen McCullough. He is a YouTuber as well as streamer. He mainly focused on toy reviews as far as I can tell, specifically seeming to be a big Doctor Who toy reviewer. So what happened is, on the night of Natalie McNally's murder, Stephen McCullough went live on his channel. And this live stream is still up right now. It's a 6-hour live stream. And this was crucial evidence to prove his innocence on this evening. Because how could McCullough have possibly killed someone when there's proof of him streaming from his home at the same time that the murder had taken place? So they eventually, after bringing him in initially on suspicion of being involved in this case, let him go. because this live stream did serve as a pretty good alibi for him. Plus, this wasn't just streamed to 0 viewers, there were real sentient human beings with a pulse there to watch this stream, so should any of this information ever come to light, there would be a lot of witnesses saying, no, I was watching him stream, he was 100% at home. So that was his whole plan. And while this worked for a brief period of time getting him out of suspicion, it was an ephemeral victory because after the investigators combed through about 4,000 hours worth of CCTV footage, they kind of pinned his whole location. They got his whole itinerary here. They were able to track him around and follow him around like it was a fucking Sims character. So not only did they see him through the CCTV evidence, but they also have the account of the taxi driver. They even took notice of things like a yellow glove underneath a black glove while giving change to a bus driver. And with all of this, they had a really strong case against him being the murderer. But they still had that live stream to explain. Because again, there is a live stream that did span the entire course where all of this took place. So how the fuck does this happen? You know, is he David Copperfield? Like, what, 2 places at once? Is this some kind of prestige situation where he had like a twin or a clone of himself? The actual answer is it's far simpler than you would possibly ever think. The live stream was fake. Yes, the stream went live on his channel during this whole period of time, but it wasn't actually a live stream. It was a pre-recorded video that Stephen McCullough had recorded days prior in order to look like a live stream, to mimic a live stream, so that way it could be used as an alibi for him. And when you watch the live stream, which again is still up on his channel, there are so many alarming red flag moments throughout it, even from the get-go. So he mentions at the very beginning of this live stream that he's not going to be able to read chat for a variety of technical reasons. One of them being it would crash his computer, it'd freeze the computer, it'd ruin the whole stream because of all of these deep tech problems that he couldn't solve. Everything's gone cattywampus, so he won't be able to read your chat. More like, Doctor, who's talking? Because I can't see you, I'm not reading chat. He just keeps reiterating over and over and over again that there's going to be no chat interaction. Because obviously, since this is a pre-recorded thing, there is no chat for him to read or interact with.
Well, because this streaming software is kind of up the left, it means I can't check the live chat, which is a real shame. Can't look at the live chat for some bloody reason, because if I do, it makes the whole thing freeze and OBS just screws up.
And he just kept like explaining why he can't read chat, and then he started talking about like, well, I guess I could read it on my phone, but you know, I get addicted to TikTok when I'm on my phone, and that's a mess, so I've put my phone in timeout in another room, so I won't be reading chats there either, and that'd probably ruin my internet too anyway, so no chat tonight. You guys can talk amongst yourself. I don't even like live streamers who read chat, so no chat for me tonight. There's plenty of streamers who don't interact with chat, but to go this long and this in-depth on things that make absolutely no fucking sense whatsoever to explain why you're not going to be reading chat or reacting to donations is definitely a little odd. And there's plenty of other really alarming moments about this stream, especially looking back on it in hindsight. He keeps reiterating that he's live, you know, this is live, and he's staying inside all night. He talks about like drinking and driving, and he'd never drink and drive, which is why he's staying inside, drinking on stream live for his viewers to enjoy. He's playing GTA Vice City throughout the stream, and he's making comments about like how the police force is no longer like equipped to handle cases, and there's a rise in crime. It's in the real world he's talking about. It's all very fucking alarming stuff, but by far the scariest thing he says has to be this.
Yeah, that's physics. That's what would happen in the real world. Abso-fucking-notly. Abso-fucking-notly.
Completely out of nowhere, unprompted, he mentions someone named Natalie in a pretty menacing way. And once again, there's plenty of other things he says in here that are very scary, but I think this one is by far the worst moment. This has been 100% confirmed beyond a shadow of a doubt to be a fake live stream. When authorities seized some possessions, they found the actual video itself and concluded that it was filmed on December 13th or 14th. And also, McCullough himself has confirmed that the live stream was not actually live, it was pre-recorded, but insists that he was actually just drinking by himself alone that night. He completely denies the murder and insists that someone else may have been dropped off in a taxi near his home. This is referring to the CCTV evidence that they've gathered, pinpointing all of his locations throughout the evening. There's also other awful shit here as well. McCullough stayed pretty close to Natalie McNally's parents, and in one case even left his phone over at their house in order to like bug them and secretly spy on them to record their conversations to see if he was a suspect. So McCullough went to the McNally house, left his phone on record, and left, but returned 40 minutes later claiming to have forgotten it, and police were saying that this was an attempt to listen into their conversations to see if they suspected him of anything in this. I can't envision a world where Stephen McCullough is not the person who committed this crime. There is just an overwhelming amount of evidence against him. And he still doesn't have a real explanation for what the possible motive to faking the live stream would even be. Nothing that makes sense, at least. And then randomly dropping Natalie's name during it. I just cannot imagine that this man is innocent, but he hasn't been found fully guilty of being the murderer yet. But yeah, overall, a horrifying situation. I'm wishing the absolute best for the McNally family, and I'm hoping justice is served here. That's about it. So yeah, boy oh boy do I have some good news for you today. It's time for a little holly jolly celebration because Santa Claus came early with the gifts. This loser has finally been arrested. Now, I'm sure none of you recognize this guy. This is probably not a face any of you have seen unless you're a woman in New York, and in that case, this is probably a face that you swiped left on Tinder for. But this is the face of the man known as Squeeze Bins, the infamous street racer who's blown up on Instagram and YouTube over the last few months. This isn't like a really stunning revelation, he just looks like a normal asshole. It's not like some kind of big twist like it's Bruce Wayne behind the Batman mask or anything. But I actually recently talked about Squeeze because he went on Neon's stream and did his street racing stunt maneuvers and ended up getting in a hit and run live on Kick. So of course I was making fun of him and tossing tomatoes, shouting boo. I think it is so incredibly lame to do the kind of shit that Squeeze Bins was, where he'd just go out on public roads and put everyone's lives in danger around him, just driving fast and recklessly for his content. And this is a criminal who is addicted to attention, which has to be the worst combination for a human being ever. If you are a criminal, the last thing that you would want is a lot of eyes on you. But this guy, Jiminy Christmas, he was absorbing it like a sponge in a sink. This guy was more addicted to attention than a heroin addict is to the needle. This guy couldn't get enough of it, so he took every opportunity imaginable to promote himself. So this was always inevitable. He was either going to get arrested or get himself or someone else killed. Luckily, he was arrested before the second thing happened. Now, before really diving into the weeds of the arrest here and everything around it, I want to show you a little bit more of the lore to Squeeze, so you can get a big taste of the cringe that is Squeeze Bins.
You mix danger, but there's also other people at risk when you do that. Innocent civilians. So what do you think about the element of danger for that?
I've been doing this since like real shit since I was 9. I used to take my dad's car out and I used to just bug out. I've been doing this for so long now that I feel like I did as a professional.
This guy must have found a moron potion at some point in his life and he has not been able to break the curse. The effects still linger. He did an interview with Tommy G, a very popular video, over 8 million views here, where he's revealing some like pretty sensitive information really, all while acknowledging that he's one of the most wanted people in the area by the authorities. How stupid can you be? He's going on a press tour here to promote himself while actively engaging in illegal activity and putting himself in as many places as possible, giving authorities all the evidence they could ever require. He also has the gall to call himself a professional. He is a talented driver, no doubt, but the only thing he's a professional at is not dying. That's it. He's going out there and gambling with everyone's lives and his own, and nothing beyond that. He's not a professional at anything, he's just currently surviving. Is all.
That's how I drive. There's been incidents where I've gone out with people and they try keeping up with me and they've crashed.
How fast do you go?
I mean, there's been a video on live where I've gone one-handed 210 miles an hour.
Filming with one hand, driving with the other, 210 miles an hour.
Yes.
That's insane. Did that scare you?
Not really, just to build up a tolerance of just speed.
Do you feel like the police watch your Instagram?
100%, they do.
Let's pop in the...
100% they do, which is why I'm doing all of these interviews to help them in their pursuit. It reminds me of this classic story where the police put out a post on Facebook asking for information about a woman who was an accessory to a murder, and the woman they were looking for actually commented on the post asking about the reward money that was being offered, and so they were able to find her because of that. Squeeze and that lady are two sides of the same coin. Just pure degenerate dummy. Anyway, though, he's finally been arrested after an incident that happened back in April where Squeeze allegedly made an illegal turn and proceeded to elude the police at high speeds. Then officers found videos of him committing various traffic violations throughout the tri-state area. Apparently the NYPD did a little fusion dance and a fist bump with another department, and they worked together and found Squeeze because he was wanted on other charges, including burglary, theft, conspiracy, and more. I was reading a couple of other reports where he allegedly punched a 20-year-old man in a deli. So I'm not exactly sure what all went down there, but ultimately it ended with him getting arrested and the NYPD commissioner taking a victory lap here and dunking on him on Twitter by saying Squeeze Binns is in custody thanks to New York's finest. And then he posted a picture of his Instagram with the word apprehended slapped across it there, as if it's some kind of like busted thing in Grand Theft Auto. So Antonio going from Squeeze Binns to Squeeze Mins here, being shoulder to shoulder squeezed into a cell with other dudes, hopefully. But there's no telling if he's actually going to face real prison time. It seems he's been released because after all of this, he did make an Instagram post about how he can't go live on there. So then he made a Twitch account, which I can't find. I do see a Squeeze Binns account there, but there's nothing on it, and I think that's just an impersonator trying to capitalize off of this. His original Instagram account appears to be banned, and the only one I can find is another one that appears to be an impersonator, but maybe it really is him. I have no fucking clue. I also can't help but giggle that he decided to make a Twitch account instead of a Kick account. Like, not even this blatant criminal who has already broadcast crimes on Kick wants to make an account over there and stream on purpose. He still decided to go to Twitch first and foremost. That's kind of crazy to me because Kick is the home of broadcasting illegal activity. They don't do shit about it there. They give you like a subtle thumbs up because it's driving more traffic to their site. That should be home turf for Antonio here. Squeeze Binns would be hoisted on their shoulders like a golden goose. And yet he still said, ew, I'll just go to Twitch instead. That boggles my mind a little bit. I did laugh when I read that he made a Twitch account. I wish they'd make an example out of him here. He's not like the only one doing this kind of content, the lone alpha wolf or anything here. This is a pretty popular niche of content online where people just put on a helmet or wear some kind of mask and then just commit crimes. And like taunt authorities driving around recklessly, endangering a bunch of innocent people's lives on the road for content and views on Instagram and YouTube and shit. He is far from the only one doing this. So I think if they would actually give a fuck here and pursue real serious charges and actual repercussions for his actions, it could help to dissuade others from pursuing this. At least I would hope. I would really like them to not play softball here and actually do something about this. He has been caught. Hand in the cookie jar here. He has all of this evidence that he himself has compiled about his crimes and how he's not remorseful and will always continue to do it, most likely. Why the fuck would you just give him a slap on the wrist? It's also more than the dangerous driving. He apparently beats people in delis, at least according to some of the reports here. Like, this is not someone that they should just be playing like patty cake with here and saying, hey, don't do it again. All right, now get out of here. Come on, scram. Like, this is something that they should be taking far, far more seriously. I really hope that his release is a temporary thing as they build up a meteor case against him, so that way he'll actually get thrown in the slammer. There's just no excuse for it at all. Just going onto public roads and compromising everyone's safety for your content, I just think it truly super sucks. And I think the fans of this kind of content are extraordinarily annoying. So there are still like Squeeze Binns enthusiasts that are losing sleep over this, thinking that he's done nothing wrong. Nobody got hurt, even though in his interview with Tommy G, he says that people have tried to emulate him and they have crashed. So people have literally gotten hurt. He also did get involved in a hit and run on stream, but whatever, I suppose. Just go ahead and ignore reality here and continue to live in fucking delusional Narnia land. But, you know, hey, they're Squeeze Binns guys. Of course they wear diapers and eat glue. Is what it is, I guess, but I'm just super happy that he's finally been arrested, and I can only hope that they do throw the book at him. So yeah, anyway, that's really about it. So yeah.